Okay, hello, Boxing Bros UK here. This is the fight review of 5v5. What a night, what a night. This is my co-host, Andrew Boxing Brain.
Chris, sorry guys, I'm still laughing. I'm still laughing.
It was,
10
it
0.
was,
10 0.
I know, man, 10-0.
Well, where should we start? Should we start with where people are probably going to want to hear us? I guess channels like us go straight to the big boys. So should we start with Wilder Zhang? Where the fuck do we start with that?
Let's go down. We'll start with Wilder Zhang and work our way down to the earlier fights.
We flip flop more than a bloody guy on holiday changing his flip flops every day, didn't we?
Originally went Zhang, then changed last minute to Wilder. But you probably don't believe me, but when I seen Wilder, he looked skinny as a rake.
Terrible.
I kind of flip-flopped again and thought, oh no, this isn't good. This isn't good. And when I seen him warming up in the changing rooms, like I just didn't like what I was seeing. Like he wasn't committing to that, all his shadow boxing and everything. He's never looked great technique, but he just looked like awful. Like he just didn't look good.
I've always described Wilder as a subpar boxer with a world-class right hand, but the world-class right hand seems to have gone as well. And the thing about the weight as well, I remember Luis Ortiz, I think it was, he come in about 215. So I've always been, he's about kind of speed and he generates power through speed, but I don't know what it was about this time, Chris. He just looked weak. I don't know. I don't know what it he just looked really weak walking into the ring, and it just was a bad vibe.
The thing is, he didn't throw any jab. There was no jab. Like he's not got a great jab, but
he was just pouring at it like that.
Yeah,
pouring the jab the whole night.
Pouring, and he just had no jab. He just didn't throw a jab. And like Wilder, his best weapon was the right hand, but sometimes he used to throw a lead right hand, but a lot of times he'd set it up with a jab and it'd be a proper 1-2, bang, bang. Very quick.
You know your boxing really well, and I like to think I do, right? You've got to set up the right hand. I remember I saw a video that went viral, right, where Lennox Lewis was doing a bit of work with him, right, and he was talking about the jab, and Wilder was like copying him, and I'm thinking, and Mark Breland apparently we came out in a podcast. I saw this a couple of years ago, and he said he was teaching about the jab, and Wilder was like, "Don't worry about it, I'll find the right hand." And I think that ignorance to the boxing craft, and I mean the left hand was absolutely non-existent last night, and it was just bizarre. He was just trying to use it as a rangefinder, Chris, to try and telegraph the right hand in.
But because he was telegraphing the right hand, it was like he didn't. Even though, like, if you're going to do that pouring stuff, let the right hand go. He didn't let it go.
Not really.
He let it go a few times, and like,
not really.
When he used to let it go, he'd punch through you. And he'd fall over his feet.
Range of motion fall through the putt. But he was falling over his front foot again, and that's when Zhang countered him. That glance in, and he didn't see it. And then he looked. Do you remember? Like he looked away, didn't he, as if to sort of say, "What was that?" And then Zhang just that was it, and he just went in for the killer blow.
He went to kind of quit because he got tagged really hard, and he turned his back, and he was like, "What's going on?" And then Zhang was like, "Yeah." And then when he finally came to his senses, he just got starched. But when he just weren't following through with the right hand. When he did land it, he landed it a few times, but he wasn't following through with it. He was pulling his punches a little bit. He wasn't fully thinking, right, I'm going to punch through you. And he kept hitting him in the shoulder, and then he kept hitting him in the shoulder, and not following up, and he was just awful. He should retire now. He is done.
Honestly, Chris, we could do, and I know obviously we want to get onto all the fights this afternoon. I could do half an hour chatting to you on that performance from Wilder. I've got notes written down. Honestly, I'm flabbergasted by his last two performances.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely, because I thought he was talking quite well. I flip-flopped because I thought, oh, actually, maybe the dog in him's back. And he bloody sold me like a terrible car salesman. He'd convinced me. But then as soon as I saw the weight, and I thought, the thing is, Chris, you can't give up nearly 70 pounds unless you're going in there at 214 with absolute evil intent to do damage. And he didn't. So,
and the thing is, if you're going to be that light, you need to be because you're going to be busy, because you're going to be fast. You can't. If you're going to, you should have gone in. If that was his strategy to try and land the right hand, he should have put a bit more mustard and been put a bit more meat on, and been a bit more sturdy.
Yeah. But he's been backed up to the ropes, Chris, all the time, backed up in the corner.
Yeah, and his defense isn't even very good. He was just like he was terrible. Right. Footwork was off.
But he didn't.
Like, I didn't see him throw one single, like a proper jab. I never see him through. I didn't throw one jab at all, not one.
There was one stat, Chris, early on, right? It looked like a Sunday spar at times early on. He was throwing, on average, about 3 punches per round. Like, what the, like 3 power shots or something like that. Like, what the fuck? Like, mate, the guy's done. He needs to retire. Obviously, it's up to him. He's his own man, of course. I don't want to see him.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Remember when David Haye fought Audley Harrison? And everyone, I started believing Audley Harrison. I started thinking, do you know what? This is going to be a good fight. And then he got in the ring and did nothing. Literally nothing. Harrison. Yeah.
Do you know what? This is probably...
He got everyone... It was that kind of like build-up. Like, you're thinking, do you know what? He knocked out Sprott. Audley Harrison's talking a good game. He's going to get David Haye. And then he went in the ring and just did absolutely fuck all.
I think you should, when you do this video... do a little short on the last 60 seconds of this conversation and then chuck this bit in there. I'm going to call Deontay Wilder. I'm going to now call him Beyonce Wilder after that performance, mate. I'm sorry. Beyonce Wilder. What? I'm sorry. You can short that, clip it. I don't care. That was a travesty, that performance. And you made me look bad. You made me and Chris look bad. Like, sort it out.
Yeah, we believed you, you twat.
I thought that killer was going to be back for one last, like Elvis doing one last tour. I thought it was going to be like one last. I'm going out. I'm going to just give it everything. My voice. I'm going to get, and he did nothing again.
And he did land something on Zhang and have a little bit of success. And when Wilder gets wild, and he starts windmilling, and he started windmilling. He started to do that, and then he backed off. It's like, no, don't stop, carry on.
It was a slight. No, you're right. Actually, you've brought me back to reality a little bit because I'm getting carried away because I'm a bit emotional because I'm so disappointed. He was slightly better than the Parker performance when he did have some success, and he looked like he caught. He didn't follow it up with anything.
One thing with Wilder, he used to windmill all the time, and he used to smother his work, but he didn't let up. He didn't let up when he had you hurt. And it was sloppy. It didn't look good, but he still wanted to take you out, and he just couldn't do it. But
do you think he's? Do you think he was just realizes he's mortal, and the Fury fights, and do you think he's
lost his bottle? He's just lost his bottle. And he just can't do it no more. That's it.
Yeah. It's a shame. I think we'll have to both say, Chris, wouldn't we, that I don't think I want to see him in a ring again, do you? I don't.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. So it looks like Zhang is going to fight Anderson or get the Parker rematch.
Or Jared Anderson. That would be interesting.
If Wilder won, he was supposed to be fighting Jared Anderson next. So I'm guessing Zhang, and that'll be a good test because, to be fair, a little bit on Zhang. Zhang just did what he always did. Plodded, paced himself, timed his opponent. When he seen opportunities, he took him and put him down. That's all Zhang does, really.
I think it was an educated, very atypical performance from Zhang. When he actually got caught, I watched it in slow motion, actually, because Zhang just moved to the left to get out the way of, because Wilder sort of fell into his right hand. Zhang moved to the left, and as he moved to the left, he countered with a right glancing hook. And he didn't really sort of caught Wilder across the front. And it, like you said earlier, as we know in boxing, it's the ones you don't see. And he didn't see it. It dazed him. He looked confused, looked away. And as soon as he looked away, Zhang smelt blood, connected with another right, and just folded Wilder on the floor. And it was even brutal. Brutal. He just went, "Nah, I ain't letting you off the hook, mate. Like, that's it."
Protect yourself at all times, buddy. Protect yourself at all times. Bang. Starched him. So
there we are. There we are.
The next one, HERGAVAIC, Dubois. Wow,
what a fight! What a fight! Oh
yeah.
I don't even know. I don't even know where to start with this one either. We just God.
Come on. Round one comes out. This was a bit like Hagler Hearns. You know, who was saying they wanted to do Hagler Hearns? That Amo Williams and Hamza Sheeran. They were trying to say that first round was pretty good. You got HERGAVAIC, bang bang. He's boxing Dubois all over the show, but Dubois is eating the right hands. He's eating them. He's eating them, and he's landing his own life. He's taking a shot to give a shot, and he's hanging in there. He's riding the waves. He's riding the storm. Second round, Dubois. I gave that round to Dubois, and he started to come back a bit. But HERGAVAIC was still boxing, but HERGAVAIC was blowing. He was blowing in round two. He was blowing already.
Yeah. This is interesting because we were kind of going, weren't we, with is Dubois quite ready yet? Still a bit raw, still learning, growing in confidence. HERGAVAIC, good amateur pedigree. And I think you called it when you were texting me, and me and Josh were saying the same. When you've kind of, if you look at his last 10 fights, you know, Dempsey, McKean, I know some people avoided him, I get that. But Dempsey, McKean, Mark Demori, you know, fighters of this ilk that aren't keeping you nice and sharp and battle ready. I just wonder, with that, combined with maybe underestimating Dubois, because he almost looked too confident to me, HERGAVAIC. Once he was kind of throwing those right hands landed and then realising Dubois was still there, his tank started to go. He was being caught bad, the cuts were bad, and he looked, after about 5 or 6 rounds, well, I can't remember the round he got knocked out in now, I've probably got it written down, but he looked absolutely fucked.
He was blowing. He was blowing from round, like, I think round 2 or 3. It was blowing, and then he got a cut. Then he got another cut, and Dubois was just like, he was just like a machine. He just kept on going, like, even because I think where's my pad? Oh,
I think it was round. What round? What round was it what round was it where he had HERGAVAIC going, and it was the bell sort of saved him? It was the round before he got stopped. So was it round 9 or something like that?
And fair play to Dubois, he showed good gas tank. Like,
he did.
He was tired, but he kept on going. He kept on going. He was holding when he needed to. He was fighting when he needed to. And he was just like, do you know what? Props to Dubois. Like all his experience, his losses and stuff, it's all coming together now. Like where he's becoming a top heavyweight, and his experience is showing. It showed in that fight. He knew when to hold, when not to, when to hit, when to go for the kill, when not to go for the kill. You know,
he learned a lot. I always say this. You know, you can't grow without pain. You know, whether that's physical pain, emotional pain. That's how you sort of grow if you use it in the right way. I think the loss to Joe Joyce and the people were writing him off. You know, he changed trainers, went through a bit of an ordeal. I think the Usyk fight great experience against a legendary heavyweight would have stand him in good stead.
You know,
Real
I think it's
fight,
giving him a boost.
Miller.
The
Yeah,
fact that Usyk beat Tyson Fury, I think it's given Dubois like a little bit of a, well, everyone thinks I beat Usyk. You know, it's given him a little bit of a mental boost that that he nearly beat Usyk, the best in the world. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you become your thoughts, you know. So
he's given Usyk the toughest fight he's had, and in his mind, because he dropped Usyk, whether it was a low blow or not or whatever, in Dubois' mind, he's done better than Fury against Usyk. So to him, that would have filled him with a lot of confidence, I reckon. And he's just gone in there against Hergovic like a machine, like because Hergovic was coming back. It was like free flowing, like Dubois was coming on, then Hergovic just kept catching him with that right hand. But where he wasn't really sitting down on it, and he was blowing. And the thing is, because he's catching Dubois with the right hand, he kept catching him with it, coming back into the fight, Hergovic. But Dubois can see, you're knackered. I can see, he knew. And so he just kept thinking, I'm going to get you. It doesn't matter. Hit me as much as you want. Because, you know, you can smell blood and see, I can see you're gassing. You're going to quit.
Yeah. It was like adrenaline. He was like running on it. But even after the fight, I was looking at the interview with Frank Warren and DAZN after, and he looked fresh in the ring. He looked hardly marked up. He was gassed. He was sort of, you know, he weren't blowing. Listen, he looked, I mean, he's 26 years of age. He's not even in his prime yet. He's the potential, throwing this out there, he's a potential future of the division, isn't he? Because next 4 or 5 years, all the other guys are going to be retired. So
you got to think AJ's retiring soon, definitely.
Yeah,
Fury's going to be retiring soon. So is Usyk. So who's you got? You've got Dubois. You've got Anderson. Like they're too young. You've got Hughie Fury, hopefully a similar age, coming back into the fold eventually. So these are the guys that we're going to be looking at, you know?
Yeah. Big Johnny Fisher? No, I'm joking. You never know.
I think he can. Obviously, Babic, it's not, well, we could be overthinking it, but he's going to destroy Babic.
I think so as well. But then, do you know what? I've got it so wrong last night. I'm not going to say anything at the moment, to be honest.
Just going to say, we don't know. We're still on the fence.
The last thing I want to say on the Dubois Hergovic, obviously, you might have a little bit more. I thought I was okay with the stoppage. I mean, he had a bad cut. To be honest, even if the doctor hadn't advised the ref to pull him out, I think Dubois would have stopped him anyway. I think he didn't have much left, Hergovic. He looked exhausted.
To be honest, I disagree with that a bit. I think I've seen worse cuts than that, and they carry on. I just think that the doctor looked to the cuts, and Hergovic didn't want to be in there anymore. He'd had enough. And
Do you think it was more they sort of come to that decision because of various factors, sort of thing?
Yeah. And maybe the trainers had a little word with the doctor, like, can you stop it, please, for his dignity kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Think about Fury Warling.
Yeah.
Think about how bad that was. Warling stuck his thumb inside his glove inside the cut and ripped it open even more. And think about Takam when he got cut against AJ, how bad that was before it got stopped. And I just think they were bad cuts, but they weren't that bad. I think there was a bit of let's save his dignity there.
Yeah, maybe the corner didn't want to throw in the towel, because I know a lot of fighters really hate that, you know. And I don't know, you could be onto something there. But do you think it was just one of those situations where Hergovic underestimated a bit, wasn't as conditioned as he could have been, or do you think Hergovic has been a bit found out? What do you think?
I don't think he's been found out. I think Hergovic he's a really good fighter, but the thing is, inactivity plays a big part, like you say. Fighting bums, not testing yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it just, So you need to be match fit. If you're gonna fight bums, fight regular. Do you know what I mean? Well, not bums, but if you're gonna fight lesser opposition, yeah,
he
then
weren't
at least
battle ready, was he?
No, he wasn't battle ready. He underestimated Dubois, and he's inactive. So I think it's a combination of things. I think he can come back, but he's just got to take his boxing serious.
He's only 31, like he's 30, which is relatively young for a heavyweight. I think HERGAVAIC will come again. He'll be in the mix over the next 3 to 4 years for sure. I mean, I could even see him still winning a world title. Like we do this in boxing. I know I can be prone to it. We go, oh, that's it. He's finished. He's been found out. Now, look, Dubois had a fantastic night. Really good performance. Solid, strong. Right hands were good. Jab was decent. You know, chin was good, his conditioning was good. HERGAVAIC
his combinations as well.
Combinations,
like, you know, on the inside, bang, 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 head body. Like, it was really good.
Yeah. And HERGAVAIC just come up against an animal last night.
Yeah.
A young lion
just like
was ready to rock and roll, mate. I think he was just maybe one of them. You know, no shame in it. HERGAVAIC was game from round 1 till the end. So there we are.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It is what it is.
I just think, but what he did, what some people do, and they shouldn't, but it's all about good matchmaking. So say like, who did it? Pulev. So when he was mandatory, he just fought okay fighters, not too good, but not the worst, to keep himself ready for when he got his shot. And but like someone like Dylan White, when he was mandatory, he just kept putting himself in wars every fight, which he didn't need to. And by the time he got his shot, he was finished. So it's about good matchmaking, keeping yourself ready, but not putting yourself in bad situations all the time. You know, like what AJ's been doing.
You've rounded that off nice. I think Dubois has had a very good last few years, ups and downs, but has made him battle ready, whereas HERGAVAIC has not, other than the Zhang fight, which is a few years ago now, he's not had those big tests. And I think basically, in summary, I think that's probably, you know, in terms of analysis, that's probably what it comes down to. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's those fine margins.
You've got to keep yourself match fit, man. You've got to keep steel sharp on steel. You can't be just fighting no hopers like Mark Demore, and that's the only fight that you've had for a year. You know,
I mean, you'd get more out of going for a fucking mile walk around the corner, wouldn't you? Do you know, it's just a waste of time.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, next fight. What was Hamza Shiraz and Amo Williams?
Oh yes, Shiraz. I'm just looking at it. Oh, this might be a long video. I mean, I guess my first thoughts on that, I thought it was a good fight. I thought Williams tried, and then when he was having good moments, when letting his hands go, he couldn't sustain it. And I just felt Shiraz, like, he's a very good operator, isn't he? You know, his jab was on point. Yeah. He looked really composed, technical.